The current conflict between Ukraine and Russia is deeply rooted in historical tensions and political disputes. These issues have festered for centuries, shaping the complex relationship between the two nations. A pivotal point in this history was Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014. This event, widely condemned by the international community, marked a turning point in relations. Adding fuel to the fire was Russia's support for separatist movements in eastern Ukraine. These groups, seeking to break away from Ukraine, received backing from Russia in their armed struggle. This further inflamed tensions and contributed to the escalation of the conflict. At the heart of the dispute is Ukraine's desire to align itself with the West. Ukraine's aspirations to join NATO, a military alliance led by the United States and the European Union, a political and economic bloc, have been met with strong opposition from Russia. Russia views these aspirations as a direct threat to its security and sphere of influence. This fundamental disagreement over Ukraine's geopolitical orientation lies at the core of the conflict, making a peaceful resolution all the more challenging. The war in Ukraine has drawn in global actors, dividing the international community into camps of support. On one side, Ukraine finds itself backed by a coalition of Western powers, primarily the United States and its European allies. These nations have provided Ukraine with significant military aid, including weapons, ammunition, and intelligence sharing. Beyond military assistance, Ukraine's allies have imposed crippling economic sanctions on Russia. These sanctions target key sectors of the Russian economy, aiming to pressure the Kremlin to change course. The European Union, heavily reliant on Russian energy, has also taken steps to reduce its dependence, albeit at a cost to its own economies. On the other side of the conflict, Russia has found limited but notable support from a handful of nations. Belarus, a close ally of Russia, has provided logistical support and served as a staging ground for Russian forces. North Korea, facing its own international isolation, has reportedly supplied Russia with military equipment. China, a global superpower with complex relations with both Russia and the West, has walked a delicate line. While not providing direct military support, China has offered Russia economic and diplomatic lifelines. This support, while not overt military aid, has helped Russia mitigate the impact of Western sanctions. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has emerged as a vocal figure in seeking a resolution to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Trump's involvement is driven by a complex set of motivations, both personal and geopolitical. He has consistently presented himself as a dealmaker, capable of brokering agreements where others have failed. Trump's approach to the conflict has been characterized by a focus on direct engagement with both Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He has held numerous phone calls and meetings with both leaders, seeking to find common ground and de-escalate tensions. One of Trump's key proposals has been the establishment of a ceasefire, a temporary halt to hostilities that could pave the way for more substantive negotiations. He has argued that a ceasefire is in the best interests of all parties involved, allowing for humanitarian aid to reach those in need, and creating space for dialogue. Trump's efforts, however, have been met with skepticism from some quarters. Critics argue that his approach is naive, and that he has emboldened Putin by appearing to legitimize Russia's actions in Ukraine. They point to his past praise of Putin and his questioning of NATO's relevance as evidence of his misguided approach. The prospect of peace in Ukraine holds immense promise for the war-torn nation, the wider region, and the global community. For Ukraine, peace would mean an end to the bloodshed and destruction that has ravaged the country for years. It would allow for the rebuilding of shattered infrastructure, the return of displaced citizens, and the healing of deep societal wounds. Russia, too, stands to gain from a peaceful resolution. The war has come at a significant cost to Russia, both in terms of human life and economic prosperity. Peace would allow Russia to repair its damaged international standing, lift the burden of sanctions, and refocus its resources on domestic development. The global economy, battered by the ripple effects of the conflict, would also benefit from peace. The war has disrupted supply chains, fueled inflation, and created uncertainty in energy markets. A peaceful resolution would stabilize these markets, boost investor confidence, and unlock new opportunities for economic cooperation. However, achieving a lasting peace will require addressing the root causes of the conflict. This includes finding a way to guarantee Ukraine's security and sovereignty while addressing Russia's legitimate security concerns. It also means confronting the legacy of historical grievances and rebuilding trust between the two nations.